First thing we need to do to access the battery is take the seat off. There's actually a little latch where we can remove that. So as you can see in this scenario, I've already taken off and disconnected the positive and negative terminal. I was fiddling around with it the day that I got it, so that was already disconnected. So I got myself my multimeter handy. We're gonna set it to 20 volts. This is a 12-volt battery, and we're gonna see if we can get any kind of reading on it. So pretty much nothing, but 0.43 volts. Ooh, see if I can get it on there. 0.54 volts. Really not enough to even turn the light on this bike. So we know the battery at least has some voltage in it, but nothing that we can use on there. So we're gonna try to fill it with distilled water and charge it. So let's get it out there first. Autocraft battery. I don't think it has any fluid in there as of right now, but we're gonna fill it with some real quick and then throw it on the charger and see if we can still salvage this battery. And if not, well, we're gonna add a battery onto our parts list. I don't want to take these caps off and risk dirt falling in there with the distilled water, so we're gonna give it a good cleaning real quick. All right, that's much better. So let's go ahead and pull these guys off. After getting the bike, I ended up going to the store and then of course buying distilled water. Technically you shouldn't use tap water because of the minerals that are inside of tap water. It kind of degrades the lifespan of the battery. Distilled water is recommended. You can drink distilled water, but because of the lack of like minerals and things they add for taste, it's not going to taste great. But the battery will definitely appreciate it. So we're actually going to use this empty water bottle. This will just make pouring a little easier, so I don't risk spilling this guy. Okay, so it's the next day. I actually wasn't able to use my normal UASA charger for this. I left it on there and the light just stayed on the red power. It never started charging. I ended up just taking the battery to AutoZone to see if they could try charging it. They put it on the charger, left it for an hour, and they told me it did not charge. Took it back home when it was reading about 11 volts, so it did charge. At this point, since it was reading 11 volts, I decided just to hook it up to the UASA charger, and it started showing that it was charging. The yellow light turned on, and it looked to be working. So now that this has been sitting for over 10 hours on the charger, it never said that it fully charged, but I saw it climb up to about 13 volts, and I could actually hear the acid sizzling in there, so I know stuff was happening. All right, so the installation part, the exciting part, we're just gonna, just like before, slide the battery in. We're gonna get it hooked up. With the battery hooked up, we're gonna get one last reading, see where we're at with it. Yep, checking the battery out, we're looking at 11.97 volts, so it's been dropping. I don't think the battery's the most healthy of batteries, but it's better than point something that we had before. And we're gonna lock this back up. We're gonna turn the key, see what happens. All right, headlight is on. Looks like it's at 2. So it's got, I guess, park, and that's gonna be on in this case. So headlight looks good. Let's see if the brights work. Yeah, brights work. And we got our little indicator light. The gauge cluster on this is really interesting. So if our light is on right now, our neutral light is on, which is awesome. There is no high beam light on here. Our high beam is gonna be that light there. So if we flick the high beams on, that light comes on and it gets a lot brighter. So we're just gonna back to low. The control switch for my other bikes, for the light, it's gonna be on the left side. On this bike, it's gonna be on this right side. So it's on right now, low beam, high beam, a little light turns on there. I'm not sure what this little red dot means here. I can't really go into it if I'm in L, but if I go to the high beam and then skip past the low beam, I can go to that red circle. The light stays on, so it's not a It's not for the headlight, in my opinion. I don't think it is. So that's interesting. It may be a kill switch. I mean, this bike doesn't seem to have a dedicated switch anywhere. It doesn't seem great that I can't use it unless I'm in H. And then I noticed that when I turn this, the neutral light turns off. So maybe a kill switch. Interesting. Let's check our turn signals. So we've got L and R, left and right. So we're going to switch that. And our turn signal light turns on. It doesn't look like our front turn signal turns on. However, our rear turn signal is on. So we may need to just replace that bulb and then it'll start flashing. So let's check our right one. Light turns on again and we've got our light on there. And it looks like our light is on back here as well, but it's not flashing. So we may have an issue with the relay. I don't believe we need to have the bulb here functioning in order for this right side to work, but I could be wrong after all. Let's check our horn. Oh, sounds like a violin. The last thing I want to check is to see if the bike triggers a neutral light when I am actually in neutral. So we're in neutral right now. Let's go shift down to first. We gotta roll a little bit. There we go. And looks like our neutral light turned off, which is good. Let's try to go back in neutral. There we are. That was really smooth and buttery. Let's go up to second. There's our second gear. And our neutral light turned off again. Let's go back to neutral. And it's back on. Awesome. Looks like the neutral light is working just fine. One other thing that I noticed when I was looking at the bike is this bike does not have an oil pressure light. So there's no way for us to tell that while we're riding. We'd actually have to, from what I understand, connect a gauge directly into the engine and see if we can get a reading from there. With our battery installed and with my knowledge of what is working and what isn't working, this marks the start officially of Project 175. In the next video, we're going to be using this compression kit that I got online to test the compression of both of these cylinders. So tune into that next video. If you like this video, give me a like. Anything to share, drop it down below in the comments. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with anything that comes out with this project or anything else that I've got going on. And I will see you in the next one.